Just click the links to the alternative video platforms that support the channel. Get a hold of me on Gab and Discord. So this chick writes into Twitter, and her tweet blew up quite a bit, though I'm sure people on the left are wishing that it didn't blow up. So she says, one of my best friends in SF was burglarized and robbed last week while sleeping. 2 days later, she saw 3 men peering into her backyard. She called PD sobbing. They did not come. I never lived someplace where the government doesn't care about you, she said. Well, welcome to the Bay Area, California. She and her husband are going to turn their home into a security fortress. Motion detectors, lights, cameras. So next time I have to say they have a weapon, she said. Be careful, I warned. They could get you into trouble. I think they go into the Karen issue here. San Francisco Karen Act makes placing istophobic 911 calls a hate crime. The more you think about that Karen Act, the worse it gets. And then you look at the people who sponsored it, these wieners, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean, that's the guy's name is Wiener or Weinstein or something like that. The old concept of if you see something, say something. And it's like, it could be just as simple as like, oh, you see somebody who doesn't belong in the neighborhood. Why? Oh, because I don't recognize them. Oh, but like, well, they're of a different ethnicity, and like, I haven't seen them around, and like, I know they don't live here. It's like, oh, well, all of a sudden that may get you committed a hate crime. Like, so it's on this fulcrum of, I mean, how do you define what is racist or not? You go, oh yeah, these people don't live in this neighborhood, and that's why you called. Yeah. Oh, well, now you can't call the police anymore. So that whole concept of if you see something, say something is gone. And like, realistically, it's they go, now they say, if you see something specific, say something specific. It's like, they just don't look like they belong in the neighborhood, and they're looking through cars. And it's like, well, if they were white, would you call the police? I don't know. But I mean, so the situation now is like, well, you can call the police on white people and you won't get a hate crime. But if you call the police on POCs, you're going to get a hate crime. It's like, think of the chilling effect that has on people calling the police. Like, really, is it a reasonable, articulable suspicion of criminal activity afoot? Not necessarily. It's just somebody who just strikes you as a little bit off. So, like, what are you calling the police for? You're calling the police for, so they come and they make contact with the person, and they just talk to them and see, like, what are they doing there? And that's it. Like, that's how civil society, that's like kind of the grease of civil society. And there's like, all this stuff is not politically correct to talk about, but you're getting what you get here, where you got these people who, they live in San Francisco, California, and they're having people who are breaking into their garages. They drill out the garages, and they try to use a little hook to get the garage door open so they can get in there, rob the garage, and then continue on an invasion into the house. And it's like, it happens every night in San Francisco. Or you get their cars broken into every night. That happens every day in San Francisco. Right now, America's got $124 million in theft, looting, a day. That's per day. It seems like an inconceivable number. It seems hard to I just can't wrap my head around it. Obviously, a society doesn't function like that for long. So you got all these people, these liberals in San Francisco who are like, you see, here she goes, does the government want me to be here? I pay taxes. Shouldn't they protect me? I don't think the government cares if you're protected. I don't think they want you to be here. I think they see you as a gentrifier. Listen, you liberals, like, you kept voting for this slippery slope of this anti-white stuff. And it's like, well, that's not what America is for. America is supposed to be this concept of equal protection. Everyone's supposed to be treated equally. And it's like, well, tribalism isn't really going to work in America unless everyone gets tribal, which is what I absolutely encourage. Listen, if you're white, start getting tribal right now. Get that in-group preference. And like, all this Pollyanna bullshit of, oh no, I'm just a nice California liberal. It's like, it's game theory. Everyone else is getting tribal and you're not. You're gonna you don't have anyone to stick up for you. You don't have anyone to advocate for you. You don't have political action committees because you're not getting tribal. Another thing I see is these people go, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just stuff. It's just stuff." That's not how society functions. Like, yeah, nobody's shedding tears over somebody stealing, a $10,000 purse. Yeah, nobody cares about that. That's not the point. It's that the permissiveness of seeing only one group of people doing this looting, it builds up a resentment in a society. It's just not a civilized society. And then, then eventually the thing is, it's not just property. It's like people are getting hurt. People are getting pepper sprayed, and people have got guns and knives when they're robbing this stuff. And if heaven forbid you got between them and the doorway where they're gonna hurt you. Society can't function like this for long, and for many reasons, the actual economic reasons and also the psychological reasons. If you got like the rest of society looking at this looting and saying, wait, why are we paying taxes for city services we're not getting? Why aren't we looting also? It's like, okay, well, then you just don't have stores anymore. You just have like a Brazil situation where you've got double entryway doors with a security camera. You take off your mask, you show the camera your face, maybe even hold up an ID, have it scanned, and you get buzzed in every time. It's like, well, do you want to live in a high trust society? You can't live in a high trust society and have diversity. It doesn't work. And like these liberals, like they bend over backwards to be as nice as possible. You can't be nice to people who hate you. And it's really hard to get liberals' heads to wrap around this. Like, oh, we don't advocate for our own interests because we don't see ourselves as an identity, as a group of European Americans, but other groups do. And so their interests are adverse to ours. Oh, yeah, the cops aren't coming to save you. You can call for home invasion. It might be 20 minutes before somebody comes to make a report. The only thing that saves you is Smith & Wesson and Glock. So, or something available in 12 gauge. And that's the kind of problem solver if someone's committing a home invasion. Anyway, I suspect this might be a little too base for YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next episode.